price, and I was trying to limit the shipping charges, you know, so you only buy, that way I would only have to buy, I'm trying to figure out how this thing opens. Okay, I think I got it. So anyway, this is, they packed it pretty small. I think I got like, I want to say 4 minis. That's what my thought is. So we're going to see how well this packs. A lot of times they like to wrap them up excessively on bubble wrap. They put them in bubbles and they just roll it around. To me, a lot of times there's edges and pieces and arms and spindly parts. That bubble wrap is rough. It's too tough. It will actually break your minis, and I've had minis show up. The last place I got was, I think, I want to say 326 Imaginarium or 526 Imaginarium. They weren't good. Yep, they weren't good. It comes right down to it. I probably gave them a higher rating than I should have, to be honest. You pay less. They tend to be around $4 or $5. They're one of the few Etsy stores still selling their minis at that price range. They're here in the U.S., and I had multiple breaks and multiple pieces that were either broken or missing parts, like the print didn't actually print their fingers, or the fingers were broken off, or whatever. They didn't obviously notice that because they weren't in the box. Because when I opened things, I did it on camera here. No pieces came out. No little pieces. No little parts were loose. The box was exactly what it was. There was nothing in there. So bad print or broken pieces, they didn't even bother to check because they sent them to me that way. They did no cleanup or very little cleanup. I mean, they broke the bulk of the stents off, but some of those pieces, some of the characters or figures had like all kinds of little knobs and stents, and they did no cleanup at all. They didn't sand the bottoms of the minis. They didn't do anything. And I pointed them in the direction of my review or whatever. And I also told them, I said, hey, these minis were, you know, they were okay, but they were missing pieces and missing fingers. And yeah, they didn't do squat. They said, yeah, you know, whatever. They don't care. So they were the only company so far that had sent me broken pieces that didn't even make the smallest effort to replace them. Make no offer, no nothing. So yeah. They also have the largest selection, one of the largest selections, which is what I think, you know, they take on all these minis and they're probably selling a ton of them and they just don't care about the problems. So I would not recommend them. But that's fine, you know, that's how some places do business and whatever. I just don't go back. You know, they were cheaper, and that was, I mean, the minis aren't unusable. They're just disappointing. You know, you're gonna have okay, I like this better. I feel like this is going to put less pressure on the minis. They're just going to be a little bit more protected, softer than the bubble wrap. Bubble wrap doesn't move or flex. You know, it protects them. There's some cushion to it, you know, from impact. But those bubbles push against something spindly, it'll pop them. And this is better. It's probably more of a mess. Actually, it isn't too bad though. It came out in chunks. So, all right. So let's see what we got. All right. So this is my goblin monkish. He might just as much be a thief, but he looks like a monk to me, so I got him because he's wearing a robe, and I guess that could be a monk, right? So, and he's using like little curly blades, which aren't quite daggers. Well, let's should I get some extra light on you so you can see? Actually, let's set the let's zoom in, get you some good view here. Oh, that's a big. All right, there we go. Let's try that. And let's pick it up. There you go. I didn't realize the angle on that. It's got a wide width. It's got a wide angle. Okay. All right. Camera. All right, so that should be better. I mean, it's blurry now, but wait, when I pick up the minis, it'll be easier to see. See? There you go, much better. Okay, so this is my goblin monk. See how nice he is? Oh wow, this is really nice. Look at that. There's not a, there's very, I mean, a tiny little piece of cleanup right there. No bumps, not a ton of stents. It even looks like they even primed this guy. He looks like he's ready to go. I didn't even ask for priming. I didn't know they came with prime. This, look, even the bottom, it's not bad. I mean, it's got a few freckles, but nothing too serious. So that means it'll go on whatever base you're putting him on. My lights are kind of low there. There you go. And look how clean he is. I mean, it's like there's just not a lot bad going on there. It's very detailed. Nothing broken that I can see. Got nice rope. Man, that guy looks good. Huh. But anyway, yeah, I have him set up as. Well, you know what? I don't know that those are daggers. In the picture, they look like they were like sharp daggers, but I think what those are is fire. He's more of a mage. So unless I'm going to do the monk that does magic, there is one of the monks that you can do as magic. He might not work because that's actually like fireballs or something coming out of his hands, but still pretty cool. Definitely a pretty cool goblin. Let's see how some of these other guys play out. It's all right. It won't have to be. Now this guy's borderline, all right? So as far as monks go, he's kind of sort of in a way dressed, but I thought he was a really cool kobold. Again, look at it. He's got nice detail on the back. He's even got scales. There's not a lot of extra stuff, but as far as it goes, there's not too many things to complain about with this guy. Again, he's got no parts to clean up. The fingers are all there. He's even got details on his teeth. His tongue has a line in it. Yeah, again, very nice work. If I do, oh yeah, I do see some stents in his leg there. See if you look in the middle there, you can see that there's some little stents between his legs, but those are so thin and small, they're going to be real easy to remove. I'm not going to do it right now, but this guy's cool. Again, you know, they look pre-primed, ready to go. I mean, they have to be primed. There's no way it can look like that without primer. So that's very nice. I'm impressed with this one. I mean, this is a huge step up from that 326 mini. Now, granted, again, a little bit more expensive. Most places are selling a little bit more expensive these days. But now notice that they do the bases, the hollow bases, which I don't mind that. I think it's actually good. It's going to make it easier to put my flex iron on. It's not going to be dependent on bumps and stuff that are on the bottom of the base. Oh, this guy was cool. I hope he's in good shape, because this is one of the things I like. This is an undead monk. I thought that was going to be, that one's so cool. He actually is an undead monk. That's what he was called. And he looks like it. You know, he's holding his staff and he's kind of that, but you can see his face is kind of skeletal. This guy's super cool. I hope I can paint him. I've never really been good at painting undead kind of stuff, but man, look at the detail on that staff. You got leaves that you can actually see. The staff is nice and straight. I mean, for the most part, it's pretty straight. No, I mean, he looks really cool. He's going to be fun. My changeling is going to have a good time turning into this character. It just makes him look, it'll make him look nice and creepy. Huh. Very cool. And I don't see a lot of problems with this one either. I mean, it's tiny little pieces of the stents. I mean, so tiny. I mean, it'll be nothing to sand it off or pop it off with a little clip of the razor. But I'm liking it. I'm liking it. They did a really good job on it. Oh, this one doesn't have the hollow base. But I'm thinking I might just get out. I'm going to start getting out my Dremel tool, and it has a little sand thing on the bottom, smooth that right up. But yeah, this guy's good. I'm gonna paint him. He's gonna be one of my first ones. I really want to have my guy turn into that guy during one of our meetups here. Else, and I'm trying to go for this intimidation thing with my monk. So we'll see. And then this is a Rakshasa. Oh, he does have. Wait, no, wait a minute. Oh, he doesn't. Okay. So apparently, I learned this from somebody that a Rakshasa is supposed to have his thumb on the wrong side of the hand. And this guy, I was noticing he does not. His thumb is on the right side. But you know what? I'm okay with it because it looks really weird to have the thumb on the wrong side of the hand. That's why I keep calling it the wrong side of the hand. For him, it's the right side of the hand, which would be just the other side of the hand. But he's really cool too. Look at it. I mean, he's got full detail. Look at that face. He's got his fangs. You can see nicely printed out fangs. I mean, they did some nice detail work on this guy. I think there's a little, looks like there might be a little stent between his lower fang and his upper fang, but that'll be super easy to cut. I could probably, yeah, I won't have any trouble clipping that. Just gotta be careful because they are fangs and not real big. But then you have nice bases on them. You know, I didn't even ask for bases on most of these, I don't think. They just come with them. Some places like to charge you an extra buck to have a base. A base with design like this. But, no, alright, so I'm going to have to say these guys they just might be the best minis I bought so far on Etsy. Now I can kind of see where the bar is. And I'm okay with the tiny little piece of stent. The pre-prime looks awesome. The price wasn't terrible. I mean, they weren't way bloated out of price. You know, some of them charge you a lot these days, 10 or more. But they weren't anything excessive compared to others. And they gave you more. They just gave you good quality print. Give you a nice base with it. They give you priming. It all comes as part of it. And yeah, I may have to write these guys down and remember to go back to their site when I'm looking. You know, when I am looking for something specific, I think they may be where to go. So, Master of Minis, check them out. I have one more mini here, but I don't have any reason to believe this one won't be at least as good as those. I got this light. It's like right in front of my glasses. Okay, so what is that? Oh, just a little, I don't know, some white paint or something. I don't know. That'll come. Oh, it's probably primer. A little clump of primer. No big deal. And this is going to be one of my monk. He's a dragonborn. He's pretty cool. Look at that. Nice detail on the scaling. It's not like blurred or flat or just barely. Sometimes it's just like this little bubbly scaling. This is just sharp and like it's actually like scales. It does look like he's got a little stent on there, but that'll be easy to pop off. I mean, you know, most minis are going to require a lot of stents. Most of them are going to have. All this floating stuff has stents. So his arms, his tails. As it's coming up, these things don't have anything to connect to. If they're floating and down, like that thumb's going to have a stent because as it comes over, the thing has to print that layer before it can actually connect to the arm and fingers. So, and if it's down below, when it does that, the first layer is like there's nothing there. So you have to have these stents that they're basically sticks that touch the bottom. So they're hanging off of him while they're doing all that. Like when it starts printing out these arms and stuff, if they're up at an angle, it kind of works because then it can just print and kind of go out. But if it's downward, like the bottom of this tail or the bottom of this thumb, or even, you know, any part of his costume, even the tiny parts, the very tiny parts that look like they're down below, that stick out, that had to have a stent, or because that tiny piece that comes up into the detail isn't touching anything until it's connected to the arm. So there's stents all over these guys, and these guys did a really good job of removing them, and they removed them pretty much all the way up to the figure, unlike that 326 Imaginarium or whatever, who barely looks like they just clipped them off at the highest possible points took off a lot of them, but they didn't, you know, remove a lot of the crap, left all that to me, which is doable. It's just annoying. I mean, that they didn't even try to clean them up at all. You know, they didn't care that they were sending you something that looked terrible. Even if I could clean it up to decent. But again, cheap, and, you know, you get what you pay for. But this guy, thumbs up. I like him. Oh, man, this guy's going to be cool. That's going to be another good one to paint. He's going to make a nice monk. Whoa. Don't mess with the Dragonborn monk, man. So there you go. There's my my quick box opening on 5 figures. 2 of which probably aren't monks. I'm in my Cobalt can, but the only problem with him, he's kind of wearing this little armor shoulder thing. It's not really a monk thing, but is that armor either? I mean, it's barely armor. But so there you go. There's my quick box opening, and I would give, if I was to give them a rating, Master of Miniatures, I give them a 9, solid 9, very solid 9. I mean, they're not, a 10 is tough, and I've never given a 10. So I'm saying this now because I'm going to let them know that I did this review, and I'll give them the link, and I'm going to say, you've got the best rating I've ever given out, and I've done probably close to 6, 7, 8 of these. Not a ton, because I don't buy all the time, and I'll do more over the years. But I haven't seen quality of these yet, of this level yet. Especially at the smaller. A lot of times I've gotten bigger minis. But when I ask for 28 millimeter, you know, things get smaller. The stabs get smaller. The spindly parts get smaller. Their fingers are smaller. And then when they're smaller and finer, they're more prone to breakage. And I learned that with 326 Imaginarium, or 526, again, I don't even really remember their name. But yours are like night and day to theirs. And to be honest, after seeing these, I want to lower their rating even further. I think I gave them a 6. At best a 5. I mean, I don't think they weren't as totally wrecked, but, and like I said, they are kind of usable, but they're just, that's what I expected to see. Now the only thing I could maybe nitpick about is it's really hard to guess what a 28 millimeter figure is, right? Because it's a scaling thing. So like this guy, he's 28 millimeter. He's standing up tall, his feet are up, he's standing up pretty straight. But if you think of a Dragonborn, who's typically quite large. Now this guy's squatting, but would he be fairly sized if he was standing up straight? Yeah, maybe he would. Yeah, I mean, how straight do Dragonborns stand up? But yeah, I suppose if he stood up, straightened his legs out, he'd probably be at least as tall as him. And he might be kind of tall for, I don't know, a vampire, humanish kind of guy. So maybe it's not too bad, even the scaling. I mean, can't say too bad. I can't say really anything negative. Overall, good job, Master Minis. I will let you know. I'll pass that on to you. I'll put a link to Master of Minis Etsy page on my stream when I get a chance, and check them out. You have a good one.